Call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for Divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. It's space couch time. Oh, we're just gonna go right back on into the couch here and just get ready for a little space talk. How are you? Welcome to the show. We are live from some nebula. I think one of the alphas. We've been just careening through the galaxy here, so it gets a little bit difficult to keep track. But we are live from space, and we are brought to you from space by our sponsor. Oh no, Space Controller. Oh hey, there we go. Space Controller kicked back in. Our sponsor this week, brand new, kind of excited. It is Tiger Squawk Records. Check them out at tigersquawkrecords.bandcamp.com. You want to get the new Rabbit Hole from Sugar Plum Suicide redone for 2020. Tapeworm Hole from Isserly. It's their best one. Volt 9000, what? Viral, that's going to be very important in a second. Club Ovaders, Impostorable, and you want to, of course, check out Batavia, quite mean-spirited, blowing up all over the place. Recorded, Squawk Stock 2020, almost 10 hours of Tiger Squawk bands. You didn't think we could do it, but we did it. Tiger Squawk Records had an online festival. Speaking of Tiger Squawk, very excited about today's guest. Like, pretty pumped. Yeah, batteries are charged to the maximum for today's guest. Long-standing stalwart of industrial music. Let's just get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Volt 9000, Corey Gorski. What's going on, buddy?
Hello, Brian. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thank you for joining us. So let's just inject right into it because Viral is out now on Tiger Squawk Records. I love it. It's great. Where would you put this album in sort of where might it sit in sort of the evolution of Volt 9000 releases?
It's basically just continuing on where it
Okay.
left off, I would say. The last album was way more sample heavy and dealt a lot more with sampling, whereas this album is a little bit of mixture of everything.
Okay.
With the main difference being a number of different special guest appearances from
Hmm.
different people, including you, I believe. I think that
Hey,
you
thanks.
do appear on the first track.
Thank you. Well, we are no stranger to working together, but it was definitely an honor to appear on your flagship project, if you will, Bolt 9000. It's just you'd first come into my orbit because one of the guys that runs the artifact merch table at one of like I think maybe Kinetic or one of the Canadian festivals was like, Brian, you would love these guys, and handed me a Volt 9000 album. Then I saw you play live at Aftermath in Toronto, and just crush it. And just been a fan ever since. Do you think this album, now that with Viral, would you consider this album particularly political, or has that sort of been your base from like since Game of Thrones type stuff?
I mean, only so much is the fact that I try and talk about social issues more
Mm-hmm.
so, just like bringing up the idea of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
In no way am I trying to push any like particular policy or
Mm.
anything specific, but just to bring awareness,
Okay.
maybe you might say. Because even though the two things kind of go hand in hand, but at the same time, I'm not trying to, coerce anybody. It's a double-edged sword because if you go too specific,
Yeah.
you just come across as heavy-handed.
Right.
Whereas if you go too far vague, you're going to get all sorts of people trying to use, your music to
Oh, that's
justify all crazy
interesting.
different beliefs. So it's kind of a hard balance.
Yeah.
I probably crossed one too many lines at one point, but you try and dance on a certain
Hmm.
fine line, while still trying to say sort of where you sit politically.
Mm,
But for the most part, it's just trying to bring awareness to
mm.
different issues.
Very cool. Um, I'm interested. How would you describe the Volt 9000 sound? Like, do you consider yourself an industrial artist or something else?
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, I would just say industrial because that's
Huh.
sort of the catch-all. But the more and more I look back, the more it's like I would say like dark pop is
Dark
probably
pop?
the
Huh.
closer term.
Well,
Or
let's
I wait,
let.
I Die You Die described it as biopunk.
I love that. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
man, shout out to I Die
and
You Die, friends of the show.
yeah, and
Uh,
hearing that, it kind of starts getting me thinking. Okay, so now I got to go like weird, kind of like punk, and kind of introduce that into it, like kind of feeding
mm.
back to the idea. So I don't know, man. You tell
I've
me.
always considered you pretty gosh darn punk rock. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm an industrial EBM addict, and I'm watching, like all these just terror industrial bands, and then these two weirdos in Walmart vests and Nerf guns come on stage, and I'm like, what? This is punk rock as shit. Like, we're too punk for the punks. Um, the Let's let our audience take a listen to a little bit of the music we've been yapping about. This is the title track off of Viral.
Burned out, head to toe, you get red pilled. Fentanyl, you let free speech punch me in the nose. We're going viral. The whole world's going down.
Sorry about that delay. We hit a space thing. You know, Walter, hey, what's up, buddy? Says I like the description of biopunk. I do too. So I know you to be something of a video aficionado. We'll get into that aspect in a second. But any plans for a music video from Viral?
I don't think so.
Don't think
If
so.
it would have come, it would probably come out
Okay.
already. But never say never. I
Right.
just I'm probably going to be busy with some other projects, which
Well,
I'm sure you will mention soon.
you are a busy guy. So, uh,
Oh, please! This coming from
well,
Brian of 7,000 different projects and
you are
bands.
not wrong, but professional courtesy. We know our own. The How are you finding the EP experience versus the full length sort of mode?
It's overall just easier for
Okay.
me.
All right.
I'm sure that I don't try and understand how people are listening to music nowadays because I'm out of touch when it comes to that. But I'm hearing people are a little bit more streamlining their music intake, you might say,
Yeah,
for time constraints and today's busy uh,
that
social
is
atmosphere.
that is true. Yeah,
I
you're.
don't know.
No, I
For me,
mean,
it's just easier to
I.
put out 5 tracks than 10. It's literally that simple.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I mean, we may be doing that for another project we'll mention shortly. We'll see. But no, I that's a very interesting point. Like with so much, I mean, media is kind of everything in this don't go outside world. That yeah, maybe that's a really good point, or just you make it a little bit more fun size. The um, Speaking of media, you're a published author. That's
Uh,
amazing.
Self-published, but sure.
Hey,
We'll
we'll
go.
take it here on Space Couch, where we just decided to do a TV show with no rules. Ladies and gentlemen, VHS collecting is out now. Pick that up on Amazon. You want to, of course, pick up Viral at volt9000.bandcamp.com, or iTunes, or you tell me, man. But is Amazon the best place to get your new book, VHS collecting?
Yes, it's the
Okay.
only
Okay.
place to get it.
It,
But
th-
yeah, thank you very much for the support, by the way.
hey, no problem. Thanks
Appreciate it.
for your interest in coming to Tiger Squawk. I'm just going to circle back to viral for a second because I'm going to call myself a hero. Super happy to have Volt 9000 in the Tiger Squawk family. It's a really strong release, and we couldn't be happier to have that out on TSR. So thank you. Um,
It's very rare a record label would thank the artist
I
for
think, but that's
coming
the
up with.
Tiger Squawk difference. And I'm not. I'm
Ah,
gonna try to not get on a soapbox about it, but it's this weird mentality that labels sort of are above bands, and I think bands should be the boss, and labels work for them. That's just my 2 cents. Um, but what I want to talk about is VHS collecting. I'm not uh, I know my reading chops have sort of fallen back, but I got back into it to at least take down the opening chapter of this book. But why don't you start? Give us the overall ready gestalt of the
uh,
book and what we might expect from a book about VHS collecting in 2020.
yeah. The full title is VHS Collecting: The Modern Relevance of Home Video, which talks about. I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory, but it talks about the rise and fall of the video store, the distribution companies that we all kind of remember seeing at the store and renting, but maybe didn't really know much about. It talks about the idea of how the video store was in many ways, and I mentioned this earlier with you, like a community hub for, I mean, most of the world. I mean, that's how we bought and consumed video and
Hmm.
entertainment back and throughout the 80s and 90s.
Totally.
It talks a little bit about the idea of collecting and pretty much everything in between, genre films,
Mm.
you name it.
Awesome. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this before the show, but I want to share with the audience the way you describe that hub. Like it put me right back into Shamrock Video in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, or I think Milwaukee. The border's weird, but the just running into friends and discovering that people you didn't really know, you both like canon movies, or that's just what you did. It's Friday night, I guess, like unspokenly, at least in my family, we're gonna go down to the Mon Pop video store and rent a movie. And they knew you personally, like Brian, you like comedies. Have you ever seen this, or have you ever heard of Francois Tati or something I'd never heard of, like, um, and weirdly mom and pop, like with emphasis on the ma, like we were talking about before. They wouldn't let me rent Mortal Kombat without calling my mom and dad, and
That's awesome. Wow, they
it's
let me like rent A Clockwork Orange when I was like 9 years old. That's hilarious. But yeah, the more and more I hear from people, the more and more I realize everybody kind of has a similar story when it
mm,
comes to that. Whereas everybody has these sort of memories of, like I'll hear things like, I used to walk around the video store for hours, and my parents would be so, agitated. They tried to get me out of there after the first 45 minutes. And like, it's so many people have these same stories
yeah.
across the world.
Right? And friend of the show, Daniel Whaley, says, I think there's one blockbuster remaining in Oregon. Yeah, I know there's one. It's like,
Bend, Oregon, yeah.
what's that?
Bend,
Alaska.
or is it? No, I'm pretty sure it's Bend, Oregon. The one in
Okay.
Alaska, I believe, closed. You
Oh,
might
did
want to
it?
fact check that, but yeah,
Okay. Eh,
from what I
well,
remember.
um, and I know I mentioned this in our preamble, but like now Blockbuster is sort of this quaint memory, and I remember when it came in and it was the big the Walmart of video rental. Like it's going to crush all this small business, and it kind of did, but even that couldn't eschew that communal uh, element. You know, like you'd go into that like overlit blockbuster and you know, see your friends and like you're renting zombies versus vampires tonight. Oh, gnarly! And just that haggard drop off the next morning. Um, so, why might somebody want to get into VHS collecting?
Well, if you have a nostalgia
Hmm.
for the video store, if you have fond memories of it, um, as you can probably see in the background here, I've decorated my studio with old VHS tapes all around.
Hmm.
Um, and it's, I mean, if you don't have those memories and you don't have any affinity for it, maybe it's not for you. But at the same time, I think a lot of people do, and I'm always surprised how many people and how many
Hmm.
stories I get from people
Oh,
with just
awesome.
instant fond memories, and it's like they always say the same thing. It takes me back to
Fantastic. Oh,
the happier days.
love it. I love it. Well, yeah, definitely check it out. In your own personal collection, do you have a favorite? I'm sure you have a
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, I have a few.
Yeah.
Probably one of the both rarest, like something that's a mixture between rare and something I've been looking for a long time, is a copy of a film called Return of the Aliens Deadly Spawn,
Love
which
it.
is I'll see if I can reach over here and grab it without knocking over everything. But yeah, it's got a pretty gnarly front cover,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
it's just a big gnarly looking creature on the front. And it's one of those films where like you didn't see too many of these on the video store
Hmm.
floor after a certain time, just because it was so graphic and disturbing
Hmm.
that so many of these copies got thrown away.
Mm.
So that's one that I've got a
Oh,
few
okay.
different copies of it from different distribution companies. But yeah, that's probably the the most prized
Okay.
one in the
Awesome,
collection.
man. Was that, to your knowledge, like a blockbuster thing? Meaning, like, I remember being a little kid and walking through the the old mom and pop place and just seeing these just fascinating like windows into another world, like these covers that were like, you know, would show like a, you know, a gored person or just, you know, because it was the Wild West. Or like I remember specifically the cover of Hard Bodies was just a naked torso of a woman, and that awakened a certain feelings in a 9-year-old Brian Graupner. Um, so was there like a cover standard that had to be met for the corporate world? You know?
I'm fairly sure it was the
Okay.
Wild West,
Okay.
from
Cool,
what I
man.
can tell. I don't have any of the corporate policies as to what
Okay.
they displayed or didn't display.
Uh,
I never worked at a video store, but it's a good question. I don't know. I know that a lot of blockbusters aim for family friendly.
that's probably
Um,
it.
Actually, from what I can remember, they actually pulled a copy of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas off the shelves at the
Really?
Blockbuster by me, and all they tell me is we're not allowed to carry that anymore.
Get out, really?
So I think probably different stores, different policies, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay,
crazy.
cool, man. Um, where so you have this kernel of an idea in your brain for like I think I'm gonna write a book. Um, where does one get started in creating and selling a physical book? Like, what's that publishing process like?
I just self-published, man.
Really?
Kindle Direct Publishing
Uh-huh.
allows you to make a book really easy and sell it on Amazon.
Okay, so
It's
Kindle
not
Direct
complex.
Publishing, you turn in that Word document and go, here's my book,
Yep,
and then
Literally. Well, I mean, it's strongly recommended that you go through all the proper formatting, and that takes
Hmm.
a little while. But yeah, put up a PDF of artwork, and it's that simple.
Awesome, awesome. Hey,
Do you have any? You sound like you have an idea.
ah, I mean, it's all pretty off the wall stuff, but I am more in love with the idea that you can just do it now. Like, from what I've heard in days past, like getting a book finally to publication was just this gauntlet of trials and getting it past this and that and all this sort of thing. And now that you can just have like good looking professional media in your hand, uh, it, from your own home is pretty cool to me. I mean, we're just running this show off of space in a and from a terrestrial base in Boston in the United States, but like we're just doing it. So I like that sort of that option is available. Although now that you mention it, maybe we'll pen a novel in the 3 seconds I have spare during the day. But
Yeah, it's.
what's that?
I was going to say you can make an analogy to like self-releasing on Bandcamp or CD
Mm-hmm.
Baby as a musician,
Mm-hmm.
finding artwork. Maybe you find somebody on your own to mix and master. You don't necessarily need a record label
Mm.
in this day and age. It's similar with books.
Right.
I think that a publishing company probably would have offered something, more as far as distribution
Mm-hmm.
goes, getting into bookstores and whatnot. But I mean, it's obviously it's 2020 as well, so it's
Right.
times are a little bit more digital, I suppose.
Well, um, it was interesting to. I think the nostalgia aspect of the book is only assisted by the for what me is a throwback of holding physical media and turning
Yeah,
pages and reading words.
that I did that on purpose. Yeah, I didn't release it
Oh,
in
yeah.
Kindle because I wanted to make sure that it was going to people who had that affinity for
Nice,
physical.
man.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. Check out VHS collecting, the modern relevance of home video on Amazon. It's great.
Thank you.
Speaking of greatness, I want to get into uh, let's address the cruddy elephant in the room, Crudmouth. You and I have put out a 5 song EP, and let's just say it now. 3 songs in
Yeah.
to
New
whatever
EP
to the
or
new
new
EP.
album. Who knows what it's going to be?
We'll
We don't
we'll
know,
see.
do we?
It's a very exciting time. It
Ah,
could be any of that. Um, so I remember getting an email from the Volt 9000 guy going, "Sweet, okay, Corey, I like that dude," and asking if I wanted to do vocals and lyrics on a grunge band. Going, "Yeah, all right, yeah, sure. Like I like Mudhoney. Like let's do that. Uh, what? Why start what we'll just for better or for worse call a grunge band now, and what was sort of the thought process behind that? It was kind of your idea.
uh, maybe. Yeah. I guess it was both of ours in a way. Should we say how it got
Yeah,
started as far
absolutely.
as the remix?
Yes,
Because
yes,
that's technically how it got started.
because you'd
You
done it.
had asked to do a remix, me
Yeah.
to do a remix. We were doing a back and forth,
Hmm.
and I'm not big on listening to remixes unless it's something extremely left field.
Totally.
And so I thought, okay, this is what was it, Sunshine? I'm
Yeah.
like, this is. I don't know why I could hear this as like I'm gonna try and do something. I'm gonna slow down the vocals
Hmm.
and I'm gonna change genres. And I had been kind of wanting to play around with some grunge writing of some sort. I wasn't sure, but as soon as I laid down the drums and put down some guitar to it, I'm like, oh, I wonder if Brian would. What if Brian would want to turn this into an EP? And there you go. You said yes.
Yeah, and it was a really great experience because I'm sort of classically I'll say allergic to guitars. I just never do them. It's all synth bangers for me. And as soon as this crud ball started rolling, I just fell right into it. It was such a fun process, even though it came out like to this day the darkest stuff that I have is Crudmouth. I don't know. It just felt like the right avenue for that. Uh, Now that it's been out for a bit, what are your reflections on the Shriek and Spell EP?
I'm happy with it. It's
Cool.
probably the I like the energy, I like the
Hmm.
feel, I like the throwback feel of it. It's pretty 90s and
Hmm.
it kind of hits that pocket, you know what
Mm.
I mean? Which is kind of what I think
Yeah.
we were aiming
No,
for.
I mean, not only did you put a ripped version of me on the cover, thank you.
Like the
The
graphic designer.
Yeah, well, thanks to him too.
I told
The
oh I told him emphasize the biceps.
Yeah. Yeah, I really dig it. I think we if I can be any sort of impartial judge, I think we nailed it. But Walter says, wait, new Crudmouth? Yes, sir. Um, the sort of the road we've been going down for this is I'll throw together sort of a shitty demo and toss it over to Corey, who will make it sound a million times better. And how are you feeling about the current direction and the new stuff?
Liking it better than the last,
Nice,
actually.
man.
To be
Yeah.
100% honest, I'm really digging it. I don't know how you're feeling making it doing the heavy lifting,
Oh
but
well, it's it's great. Like, I mean, uh, I'm sort of interviewing myself now, but yeah, like, um, if you've just been building with Legos your whole life, and then you go over to your friend's house and he's got constructs, you're like, what the hell? This is amazing. You're just mind is like I was so not used to the process of a rock song, like even though it comes out pretty goddamn gothically with my song structure that I use on everything. It's great. Like we don't know what we're calling it yet, uh, but it is very much I think sort of the confluence of what you might expect from Volt 9000 and the Gothsicles. That'll be out fairly soon. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I was going to say part of what I like is that it's not what you would expect from the two of
mm,
us. You would expect, I mean, what, and whereas like
damn it, you're right. Actually,
this,
yes, I got a heel turn. Heel turn. You're absolutely right.
the song "Product" I think was off of Viral, where that which features you is very much what I think people would expect,
Mm,
and I think Crudmouth is kind of going way far off in another direction, which is something I like to hear too. I like
yeah,
to
I
hear.
mean, I meant like just in terms of a quality, and I do it in Gossicle's voice, and it's certainly got the caliber you might expect. Available for Christmas? I don't know. We don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. Um, the says Walter. But I'm happy so much with the Pardon the Pun product that I think it's got sort of both of our work ethic put into it. But to your point, yeah, it's there's no like esoteric Nintendo jokes or anything like that uh, in it. It's I think I got a lot of stretching out of musical stretching, if you will, from Shriek and Spell, and I think that now that we've got the warm up round in, this one's gonna be the best. Um, Daniel says Gothsicle's Christmas music, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Do you ever do the Christmas thing, Corey?
No, I haven't. I
Yeah,
haven't. But now that you mention it, maybe.
yeah, maybe we'll do. You know, uh,
We'll do Christmas, we'll do Hanukkah, we'll do Thanksgiving,
you
we'll
can do
do
the
just let everything.
product sequel called Stocking Stuffer, and
Yeah.
um, the but Viral is out now. Check that out. Something I'm really excited about because being a fan of Volt 9000 and Crudmouth videos means you know that you are no stranger to action figures, much like myself. Among your own collection, do you have any? Dan from Vein Collector is in the chat room. Do you have any favorite action figures?
My favorite, I have four of these. I'll show two of them to the
Oh,
camera
cool.
here. These are called oozers.
Oh,
These are actually really hard to find. They were released throughout North America, but for some reason it was mostly Canada and
hmm.
Mexico that got them. There were some in the U.S. apparently. They're really hard to track down, but there were four released, and they're monsters where you squeeze their stomach and ooze comes out of their eyes and
Oh, yeah.
brains. And yeah, they're probably my rarest. That
Oh, very cool. Yeah, 80s toys, 80s like boys' toy action figures, like loved to have slime come out of them. I mean, sort of the
no
premise of
no yeah no innuendo there. But
Heyo.
yeah, I mean, it's
No, there wasn't.
it,
It was just slime. People just loved.
yeah, it
I
was
mean,
what do you call it? Gross out toys
gross out toys.
is the nickname they had for them. And yeah, I've got a lot. Things like blurp balls, mad balls, but even like within Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and some of the X-Men, you'd find like Venom would
Hmm.
have ooze coming out of his chest. The what was the other guy? The Mutagen Man
Yeah.
from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Well,
Turtles. Like you get on the
Muckman.
list, Muckman. Yep.
Well, yeah, yeah. It was so many, and well, that is actually the perfect setup to something else. Um, you had me be a part of, which I was super grateful. Me and the illustrious Daniel Belasco, who both of them appear on Viral, both appear in. Um, uh, Daniel says Nickelodeon GAC was around that time. Oh yeah, that was big.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I got that all over the wall.
Nice, man.
That's
Well,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle slime,
oh
the
well,
slime pit from He-Man.
the He-Man. Yeah, you beat me to the
Uh,
He-Man one. Toxic Avengers says Walter. Yeah,
oh yeah,
we loved slime in the '80s. Um, that Gross Out Toys became the premise of your show. Biomutoids. I got to play a freak out guy with tentacle arms. It made me very happy. Uh,
Shrieker.
Shriek R with that He-Man hyphenate last letter. That made me really happy. Let's take a look at just the first minute of Biomutoids. This whole thing is out on YouTube now. I suggest you take a look at it after the show.
Okay, Shrikar. We'll go over this one more time. After you land on top of the castle, you run down the stairs, unlock the drawbridge, then Krog and myself will storm in and save Lucy. Got it?
Wait, why do I always gotta be the one in the catapult?
Well, that's because, I'm far too important to be launched 9,000 feet in the air. Too risky. As self-appointed leader of the Biomutoids, I need to stay back and, lead the troops.
What troops?
Yes, precisely. Besides, your noodly appendages will flap tenaciously in the wind to give you, aerodynamics.
But I'm always the one in the catapult, and every time this goes wrong, I end up.
Quiet now. We need to calibrate the system. Okay. If the airflow is exactly 2 knots to southeast, and the bend angle is exactly to 42 degrees, by my calculations, you should land right on the middle of the...
Hi, Slimacin.
Oh God, I love that. So check out Biomutoids episode 1, voiced by our guest today on Space Couch, myself and Daniel Lesko, and some other people. Who does? You got some actors for like Patty. The,
Oh yeah, that was just a voiceover
okay.
artist I found last minute. I had a little bit of trouble finding somebody, so hired goons for
Okay.
some of the other voices. But
Very cool.
somebody, well, I don't know if you mentioned about if there's going to be
Well, yeah, that was Biomutoids episode 1. Might we
yeah.
see episode 2?
I just got the audio back from everybody and I've compiled it. I gotta yeah. I gotta make sure I got time though, because it's believe it or not, stop motion animation is very, very time consuming.
I've done a little bit of it. It's just nuts. So I'm watching Biomutoids flipping out. Like that must have been like forever to complete. So you're telling me Biomutoids episode 2? Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen. But it might not, like, don't expect it anytime soon,
Right.
but probably in the next 6 months to a year, probably 2021. Safe
Mhm.
to say, new biomutoids.
Oh man.
And
Oh.
it features another person, just a brief cameo, but I won't tell you who it is.
Okay.
I'll just say that they've been on Space Couch before.
Oh, a space couch
Somebody,
guest.
yeah, somebody who you know.
Oh man. Well, uh,
Considering,
very very excited about that. Um, so check out my voice acting and Chops, and as well as other guests of Space Couch. But the real star is, of course, the amazingly, lovingly done animation from Mr. Volt 9000. Um, if some of your musical influences became, let's say, He-Man characters, who might embody them?
Okay, so I think a lot of this is just kind of subconscious. It's not really
Hmm.
anything I could totally
Right.
flesh out, but I would say I would have to make Al Jorgensen Beastman. I think that's appropriate.
It's out of the park.
Trent Reznor would be Hordak,
Oh yeah,
and Manson would be Skeletor.
very good, very good.
Um, Ogre from Skinny Puppy would have to be Man E Faces,
Why Manny faces? Just because he?
because multiple face, the
Yeah,
costume changes.
yeah. Oh, that's really
This
good.
is a lot of different things you could probably go with for him, but
Yeah, that's
the idea of
totally,
different faces.
totally, especially with the repo shit.
Yeah, I think Sasha Konetsko would be Roboto, or maybe even Man at Arms. I don't
Mm.
know why. Just it's a subconscious thing.
But I like that. Like Man at Arms, like literally industrial with the exposed armor and just been there for a million years, there from the start, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And finally, I'd put Edward Cospel as Orko.
I'm not familiar with
Orko,
that.
the little wizard, the
I
little
know
float.
Orko, but who's the guy?
Edward Cospel from
Oh,
Legendary
yeah,
Pets.
sorry. Da, 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 da. I didn't quite grok that, but yeah. Ha! I love that. We talked about him quite a bit on the Dre episode of Space Couch, but yeah, that's he'll get a kick out of that. I love Orko.
He just
Perfect.
has this sort of like wizard kind of quality to him,
He's very magical.
Yes.
I dig it. Some might say legendary. Uh, the
Nice.
hypothetical Volt 9000 VHS movie. In the VHS era, we're going to condense the aura of Volt 9000 down into a movie you might rent on Friday night with your family or buddies, depending on the video store, and how much you think you could get away with. Are we looking at like a sleepaway camp slasher thing, or like an over the top Jean-Claude Van Damme kicky action movie? What do you think?
Well, it would be definitely straight to video.
Right, right.
It would be low budget. It would be probably more of the latter. It would be
Hmm.
more like um, not a slasher.
Hmm.
Even though I like slashers, it
Yeah.
it wouldn't be appropriate for the band, I think. And it would be
Yeah.
something like, like a really crappy sci-fi where like it's a dystopian world, but it's, some guy in knight's armor with a flamethrower, something kind of
Yeah, yeah, it's
ridiculous
you.
like
It's got to
that.
be you, right? I would imagine, unless you're like,
Yeah, I don't know who. Yeah, because I'd have to think about who would I get to play me. I don't know.
well,
But at the same time, I wanted to say there actually was a VHS planned release at one point
oh,
that I was
really?
trying to get for. I did an album called Conopoly,
Yeah,
and
totally.
it's remember Nightmare, the video board game? I was gonna
Wow.
I was gonna design a board game around that, but like in relation to the whole concept of like Wall Street and
Yeah.
all the banking issues, and on screen it would be like you'd have like a Wall Street executive, but over the course of the game, he would become more and more decrepit, and like you'd see start blood coming from his
Oh,
eyes and
wow.
money, oozing out of him, and it never happened. It was one of those things that was just, um, too much in
Oh,
the end.
yeah.
But
It's a big undertaking, but wow, what a forgotten medium, video board games.
did
Oh,
you used to play that? I'm imagining
I
a
did. Me and
Nightmare.
my buddies did. Once because it was a pain to set up, but we did the Star Trek one
Ah,
once. They had there was a it was so crazy because they got the guy that played the Klingon Gowron to play another Klingon, but it was clearly the guy that played Gowron. So you're just like, why not just have him be the guy that It's really, but yeah, Klingons took over the Enterprise, and you'd be playing, and then he would come on screen and go, "Ah, you all move back to spaces," or
Yeah.
whatever. Uh, yeah, the you got to fight Boglins, I think, in the movie, or Mad Balls, or some other like '80s toy has come down to take over the world, and only Volt. Oh, can your gun be like a tricked out Nerf shooter like from your stage show?
You know what? It might be like, remember the show Captain Power? The
Yes,
one that,
you did not just make a Captain Power reference.
yes, directly. And it would have like, did you ever have the toy gun
No, my
where,
buddy had it, but like I was
Mhm.
jealous of him.
Yeah, I had it, but it didn't do it. It didn't seem to work.
It never
But
worked because that was the premise of the show, is that you could like on live TV, like
right, the bad guys would come out and their chest would be a pulsating flash, like a strobe. They would
yeah,
come out on the screen and it'd be
right,
strobing, and the gun would have to pick up that strobe light.
right.
But it never seemed to work
It
for
never
me. And as soon if you didn't hold the gun away and you had it on the screen, it would like pop the little guy out of the space. And apparently, actually, children had seizures or something like that. It was got pretty. They had to, yeah. Um,
Finite
but
Joy says
I,
Captain Power for life.
I, I would have to do something like that. I think with
Oh,
the
oh yeah,
with,
yeah. You've tricked out a Captain Power type rifle to save the world from an insane sci-fi type invasion. Slime will be involved at some point. Maybe
yes, you
you
would make
can.
a guest. You would make a guest appearance,
Oh, fantastic! Thank you, thank you. Um,
cameo.
can't have can't have a Volt 9000 video without a little Brian showing up in the background, or maybe you can. But oh, you have to swing across something so we can put that on the cover of the VHS, like because I think just so much swinging on VHS covers, at least in the forehead VCR of my mind. But awesome, I love it. I need to see this movie. Um, Speaking of video entertainment, we got a little bit of a taste of this with Biomutoids, but you are certainly no stranger to stop motion. I know we got into it a bit, but already, but this stuff takes so long to put together. I want to show off some of your other chops. This is two videos uh, off of Deformer, your last album. This will be Monster Party. I'll look a clip of that, and then we'll go into the amazing video you did for Infused with You off of the last uh, Crudmouth album. Check this out. This is great.
There's no worry when in doubt. Simply cut the cancer out. Dance, 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 puppets, dance, 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 stop. Dance, 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 puppets. Now go wake the monster up. Dance, 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 puppets, dance, 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 stop. Dance, 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 puppets. Cut the cancer out. Phase one. Think about you when I'm not supposed to. Private thoughts, secret ops. You pervade my brain in cavalcades. Private fantasies, quiet alchemy. Got me doing laps in my brain. Like a love-fueled go-kart. You're the inevitable outcome of every best-case flowchart. Got my heart racing and my body sweating. Fuse with you is my default setting. Locked up thoughts, so there's no forgetting. Fuse with you is my default setting.
Oh, that was great. That was great. Ryan Bates says, Mr. Gorski, thank you so much for VHS collecting. It was quite the rad book. I recommend to all.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. Too kind. Thank you, man.
and he says those Playmates TMNT toys. Yeah, yeah. That's we were talking about. Z9K rules too much too hard. Oh, all the love on the chat room today on Space Couch. You're not wrong, sir. Bolt 9000 does rule. We saw some Cops toys, the aforementioned Oozer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some Silverhawks, Visionaries. Um, oh God, those weird '80s things you stacked. I forgot what those are called, but good stuff, man. Good stuff. Uh, yeah, good Muckman and Mantenna have weirdly become the theme animals, if you will, of theme creatures of Crudmouth. Um, that that takes a long time to do, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
takes
I
a
know we
very long
talked about
time.
it earlier, but like, how long would you say you spent on the Crudmouth video?
I had some time off work.
Uh,
I think I had like 2 weeks.
hmm
I didn't spend every hour a day on, like, maybe I'm trying to remember. I calculated it something like to make one to make 10 seconds takes about an hour. So
Wow!
you could do the math.
Oh God, you guys, 10 seconds takes an hour. That is,
Depending on if you need the lips to sync up,
is
or
that the killer?
it is and it isn't. You just
Okay.
have to have a very, very steady hand and be
hmm
very, very patient.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't even think about that. Like if you nudge it, like if you trip or something, and you just, oh,
you're
okay.
yeah, you're just hunched over like this, putting a little tiny mouth. Oh, it fell. I got to pick it up with tweezers. Oh, okay. What? One more time,
Oh
just to get one little click.
no. Oh man, that is robotic tenacity. Thank you for doing that for so many things, and definitely check out Biomutoids when that comes out because that's going to be savage. The You are in. I'm in space, but you're in Toronto. Uh, I'm curious as to what's the temperature, quote unquote, like in Toronto right now. Are you guys pretty open? Are venues going, or is that all shut down?
Yeah, we're in something called a modified stage two,
Oh,
which
okay.
what that means is most things are open, but there's no dine-in eating. There's
hmm
no gyms are closed. Um, casinos and movie theaters are also closed.
hmm
Which I mean, I went to just before it closed. I went to see Tenet, and
hmm
I don't understand why the movie theaters are closed. I think that's a little silly because we were in a giant Cineplex and we were the only two people there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, things are temporarily in a modified stage two setting
hmm
for the next 28 days or so, and I believe our case counts are something around. Unfortunately, it's like 1,000 a day now in
hmm
Ontario, which has 14 million people.
Yeah, it's giant.
Yeah,
Uh,
so you can kind of do the math there as well. I
yeah.
don't know how about well, obviously you're in space, but
Uh,
when you're in Boston, have you heard how
yeah,
it's
it's. I think the state's doing pretty well as far as the rest of the country goes. It's a lot of eating outside, but it's just started snowing. As far as I understand it, I'm in space, but like people tell me it just started snowing in Boston, so like that's kind of putting the kibosh on the outdoor eating. I haven't seen a movie in a theater all year. Um, Obviously been to a concert and venues are closing, which ugh, that sucks. But like, I think people are finding ways. Like, been doing like the online show for Tiger's Walk and stuff like that, so it's not all doom and gloom. But if you gotta stay in, why don't you check out wonderful talk shows hosted from space with industrial stars? I mean, it's what everybody's asking for. Um, the You are sort of an unstoppable force, as far as I can tell. You have not only conquered motion picture and music, but you're a visual artist as well. I want to bring up a portrait you did because I want to bring up this one specifically because it's of me. Um,
Okay, Shrikar. We'll go over this one more time.
that one. Yeah, okay. Check. Wait, they can't hear me now. So that. And we're back. Yes, that was you painted a wonderful picture of me, and I know like the guy from Blush Response and a couple other bands. What inspired you to get into painting industrial star portraits or painting in general?
That was just a brief little experiment and
Hmm.
just having fun, just taking a break from music and anything, and just uh, you know, transitioning to a different medium,
Mm,
just trying something different.
that's
Um,
awesome. You are really a renaissance man. I mean, even you won't stick to just the electronic music guns, deciding to go into rock and roll, if grunge rock or whatever, and then to painting. Like, does that come from anything, or is that just sort of your default setting, if you will?
no, it's just I like to be creative. That's all. Although I
Okay,
think that you're over, I think, dude, I think you're overhyping a little bit. I'm like sitting in my garage throwing paint on a piece of paper.
but
This
it's
isn't
great.
anything. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Usually when I paint people, they kind of get a little bit upset.
Really,
Maybe not upset, but yeah, some people are kind of annoyed by it.
really,
I try and make people look, how I would think they look cool, or they have to have a look or
right.
something interesting. I think sometimes it can cross into caricature, which I know a
Mm.
lot of people don't appreciate, but I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, oh, I was very flattered. I mean, I look like me, but I think the chaotic sort of capture of the background is sort of in my thing. Um, so with all of this lead up, we want to get um, viral out now on Tiger Squawk
Tiger Squad.
available at volt9000.bandcamp.com. Is that the preferred place to pick that up?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
All right. Check it out there. You want to, uh, it fits perfectly in a stocking now that we're in a post Halloween world. Um, Check out VHS Collecting on Amazon. Ryan says one of 2020's best albums, IMO. I agree. Um, no, it's pretty like I know friends of the show, I Die You Die are big Volt 9000 fans, and I actually got a message by Alex saying like I'm glad to see VNK is on Tiger Squawk now. It needs to be pushed more. Like and I agree is what I'm saying. Like it's quite great. Um, yeah, the album's really all over the place. Daniel crushes it, of course, on guest vocals. Uh, the song we heard at the top of the show, "Viral," you laid down your singing chops as well, which are, you can hold a note to, which I'm jealous of. Um,
No, 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 that's all studio tricks, buddy. I can't listen to
you
my
can't
voice.
fool
I can't hold
me.
a note for anything.
The Biomutate episode 1 is out now. Check that out. So, with all this, um, what might we expect next from the mighty Volt 9000?
Well, we are working on new Crudmouth.
We are. Oh, it's good.
We have the audio for Biomutoids too.
Oh, so
Uh,
excited.
I have one or two people, like friends of mine, who are talking about I might help them out with a book.
Mm.
Where it's more of a picture book, but there'll be some writing and some. I can't really say what it's about, but it's on a similar
Oh,
topic.
wow. Okay, you're book guy now. That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess I again self-published, but we'll see what happens with this next project. And as far as Volt 9000 goes, I haven't started anything yet,
Mm-hmm.
but if I do, it'll probably be something even more different, even
Mm.
more left field,
Yeah,
kind of something off the wall
can
and
never be contained. This guy. No, I really love it. Um, One more question about the book. Like, I just want to get into this idea of satisfaction, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but I would imagine it's got to be pretty amazingly satisfying to be, lying in bed one night, just going, I think I'll write a book, or however the idea came to you, and then you do it and you have it and you're holding it. Like, What is it like to have something like that come to fruition?
I mean, it's something I didn't really plan on doing, to be
Hmm.
honest. I was originally, I kept writing and I had some ideas for a podcast. I
Mm.
couldn't imagine fleshing that out into like 30 different episodes.
Hmm.
So then I'm like, okay, maybe it'd be a blog. Da, 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 da. And then after, it's just like, well, why don't I just turn this into a book?
Mm.
I had thrown a VHS swap at a little video store in Toronto
Okay.
last year, and it turned out to be like a lot more successful than I thought. I thought it would
Mm.
just be like what you'd think, like four guys in a dark room looking at
Right.
each other's tapes. But no, like people were coming in off the street. Everybody was like excited to see all these like piles and piles of
Mm.
old videos everywhere. So I kind of just realized, okay, you know what, people are interested in this sort of thing. I might as well just kind of put it all out, and it just wrote itself really quickly actually.
Love it. I love it. Uh, Corey, we are on a rogue flight path out here in the cosmos, and I'm going to bring this flying couch back on into the station shortly. Do you have any closing thoughts for us here on the cosmic couch?
Just it, you guys in the US are about to get into the election of your generation, so just to further
We are.
reiterate what some of your other one or two of your guests have said lately, please exercise your right and go out and vote, and you know um, take it seriously this time,
Hmm.
because this is a big deal,
It's a
and
big
this
one.
affects everybody. This affects the world. This affects Canada.
Hmm.
This affects the whole world, the environment, the future of our generations. This is really important stuff. So please, everybody, just exercise your right and get out there. That's the
Awesome.
only thing I'd say.
That is a great way to exit the show. 100 million% agree. I'm fine. I'm in space, but you guys on terra firma is a big one. So on before the world ends, everybody check out the book. Check out the many albums from Volt 9000 and Crudmouth and
And thank you very much for having me, dude. I really
thanks,
appreciate it.
man. Thanks, man. Um, here, Corey. Cheers from the Great White North. His financial, yeah. All right. So this is Brian for Space Couch, for Corey for Vault Line saying call the spaceship to Davenport, prepare for Devaniki, and interface with the couch in space. Space Couch. Out.
Corey! Oh, goddamn, man, that was a great episode.
Thanks, man. I hope so.
Oh gosh, it's really great to be hitting with you for a bit. Yeah, once the stand for this big foam box shows up tomorrow, I'll go through and yeah, the other two Crudmouth tracks are great. One's really fast and one's a bit weird. So I think we'll get all the crud bases covered.
Yeah, I'm really digging it, man. I got a music video idea that I think you'll like, because it includes stop motion, and it would include stop motion, flash animation, and live action. I don't know
Oh,
if you're going to be interested, but I'll send you the idea.